Hey everybody, just want to do a little update here on my Pea Puffer tank. You can see all three of them right up here in the front, waiting for some kind of dinner or something. I'm not getting ready to feed them right now, and in fact I'm not even getting ready to do a water change, even though it really looks like I should. I will be doing a water change in here very soon. I'm probably going to treat the tank for cyanobacteria again, and that's really what I wanted to talk about in this tank. You can see I've got the green growing on the glass, and the green is even starting to grow back onto the plastic cave system back there. And then of course I've got all of the green cyanobacteria that's growing on my Java fern in there. And I even like this one piece. It's like growing towards the top. It almost looks like some sort of crystal structure or a stalagmite or something like that growing up towards the surface, but it's not. It's just the blue-green slime cyanobacteria. I never ever get rid of it. And the reason I never get rid of it is because I have 14 fish tanks, and I often swap plants, and I use the same dip nets and the same scoops and siphons and buckets, and I'm just never going to get rid of it. I've accepted that a long time ago. I had beat it back in this tank, and it was really doing well for a long time. But about a month ago, I put a snail in here from my snail tank in the basement. And when I put it in, I noticed something on the shell that looked a little unusual. It looked like some sort of hair or something. And when I looked at it closely, I realized that that's exactly what it was. It was some blue-green slime cyanobacteria, or possibly the maiden's hair, or maiden's tresses, I should say, the filamentous spirogyra green hair algae that I get in some of my tanks. It was one or the other, and when I put the snail in here, I kind of wiped it off, but again, we're talking about a single-celled organism. You can't wipe that off. As long as there's a single cell left, it'll start growing again. So I fed the tank the snail, and here we are about a month later, and the tank looks like this again. So that's just the way it goes. For me to really get on top of it and really get rid of all of the cyanobacteria in all of my tanks, it would be a really, really serious concerted effort. I'd have to do all my tanks simultaneously. I'd have to sterilize all my equipment simultaneously. And to me, it just really isn't worth it, especially when you consider cyanobacteria is an extremely primitive organism, and it's been around for literally billions of years. Organisms do not last billions of years without being really, really hard to kill off and virtually ubiquitous. And by that, I mean it's just everywhere. Cyanobacteria grows in the ground outside. It's in moist soil. It's just everywhere. So if I do anything with my fish tanks that involve bringing plants from the outside, or any of the things that I do on a regular basis with my tanks, because I like to experiment with my tanks and play around with them and have fun, and this is what happens. It's just, again, I've accepted the fact that cyanobacteria, like algae, is just something that's going to be there. I've got an aquatic environment with nutrients and light. I'm going to have cyanobacteria. I'm going to have algae. It's just part of dealing with an aquatic environment. So no biggie, but it is getting a little out of control in here again, and I need to get on top of it. So I think in this case I'm going to do another treatment with the blue-green slime cyanobacteria stain remover by Ultralife, and of course I'll have to put an air stone in here when I do that, and we'll do that whole cycle again. It's old hat by now. I've done that so many times. I'm also working on getting a rubber lip pleco. They do wonders for keeping a tank clean, and while they do not eat cyanobacteria, there's no fish that I know of that actually eats the cyanobacteria. What they will do is scrape the surfaces, so all that brown diatom and all that gunk on the back, that'll get cleaned off. Even though the rubber lip may not eat that specifically, it'll just sort of get eaten in the process of it scraping the stuff that it does eat. And with the cyanobacteria, maybe some of this stuff here in the middle that's so thick that it's purling, and that is indeed purling. That's not a false purling or whatever. That is real purling, and it's coming from the cyanobacteria. And the rubber lip would not eat that. That's just too much cyanobacteria. But what would happen is if I killed it off, and then it was starting to grow back in the tank, it would just never get a chance to grow because the rubber lip would continually be in there scraping all of the surfaces as any kind of algae or offwalks was growing and developing, and it would just never get a chance to take hold. So putting a rubber lip in a small tank like this will keep it very clean. I unfortunately just lost my rubber lip that I had in my quarantine tank because I put some neons in there that were infected with ick, and one thing led to another, and now I don't have any rubber lip waiting to go in this tank. So I'm definitely going to have to treat it again, and we'll start the process over once I get done treating my quarantine tank for ick. I'll be able to get another pleco and put it in the quarantine tank, and we can begin the process again. So maybe in another month or so we'll see about getting a rubber lip pleco put in this tank to join these little puffers, and that should keep the cyanobacteria at bay. But I just wanted to do a little update here, just show you that once again it is back. I do have the cyanobacteria growing in here again, and that's really all I wanted to talk about. So again, make sure you're subscribed, that way you don't miss any of the stuff I've got coming up. When I do the treatment on this tank, I will certainly shoot a video about it. Again, I'm not doing that tonight, I'm just shooting this little update here. But if you're subscribed, you won't miss when I do shoot that video. And now I am off to go add another video to my layman's lectures. I'm going to go downstairs and shoot a video all about ick. So stay tuned for that. Again, make sure you're subscribed. Don't forget, this is my Pea Puffer tank. Thanks for watching. Hope you see you real soon in the next one.